Meet Dr. Mark Price, team physician for the New England Patriots. He has been affiliated with the organization for 6 seasons.
It was sort of a bunch of happenstance is what I would say. You know, I was lucky enough after I finished residency in orthopedic surgery to stay here at Mass General and do fellowship. And part of that fellowship was working with Tom Gill and the Patriots, and had a great experience with that, but never expected it to morph into anything. And then a friend of mine, a good friend of mine, Matt Preventure, took over the job from Dr. Gill. And then Matt suddenly got an opportunity to go work out in Colorado, and next thing I knew, I was sort of the next man up.
A career in medicine and being a top doc for one of the NFL's most decorated franchises was never a career goal, nor was being a doctor.
I actually thought I was going to go a completely different route. I did engineering in undergrad and went and worked for a startup company for a couple of years. When I got here to graduate school, it really became very interesting to start thinking more about the medical applications. And then lo and behold, when I started getting in front of patients, I said, man, this is very different, something I absolutely love.
In between grad school and a job with the Patriots, Mark's career took a different turn. Not only was he interested in serving the medical community, but he was also interested in serving our country.
It's something that I had always wanted to do. I thought, back in high school, I thought about going to the Naval Academy. It really never went away. And so I very timidly took the paperwork home to my wife and said, hey, what do you think about this? And we sat down and talked about it, and she said, you know what, we can do this. It was always a practical matter of how would we do this? What would happen if you got deployed? What would happen to the kids in school? What would I do for that year? It's funny, the joke I make with people who are thinking about the military or military medicine, I say, the best way in the world to not get deployed to the Middle East is to not join the military. So I very vividly remember I was down in Florida doing some work down there, and I got a phone call from the commander of our unit, and he said, you've been identified as someone who's being deployed. And I said, well, where? And he said, Afghanistan. And I said, the first thing that came to my mind, I said, Afghanistan, Iowa? And he said, is there an Afghanistan, Iowa? And I said, I really hope there is. And he said, there isn't, you're going to Afghanistan. So I got home that night late, probably 11 o'clock, 11:30, and woke my wife up and said, hey, I got a call from the Navy today. And she said, where are you going? And I said, Afghanistan. So we both had a good cry about it.
I was pretty surprised, a little taken aback, but then I just sort of had this overwhelming feeling that he would be fine.
Once I knew that she was okay, it allowed me to go out and do what I needed to do and could focus on the mission at hand. I know how to be a doctor, I know how to be a surgeon, so they weren't asking me to jump out of an airplane and attack a village. They weren't asking me to land artillery rounds somewhere. They're asking me to be a doctor, and I said, hey look, I got that.
In Afghanistan, Mark was literally saving lives. After his tour of duty, his service was recognized with the awarding of a Bronze Star.
It's a testament to the people I was with, not to something that I did. It's nice to get recognition, but I think it misses the fact that it should be more of a team award, that everybody who I was with made that kind of thing happen.
Being a part of a Super Bowl champion team would be at the top of most people's lives, but the greatest day in Dr. Price's life?
There's no question about that. When I walked off the gangway of the airplane and my kids were right there, there was nothing in my life will ever compare to that. Seeing your kids and your wife after being away for 9-10 months and making it back in one piece, you really can't describe it. I don't think that this is something you plan for or aspire for. It's something that you really have to enjoy doing. And then if you're just awfully darn lucky, the opportunity presents itself. And when it does, you're ready and you jump at it. And that's the honest truth.